Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Monty, and this is once again another Twitch live video, little mini lesson. And this time we're going to be looking at the tenses timeline. This is going to be something that encompasses a wide variety of languages, so it's not just going to be one. So there's going to be a lot of overlap between all the tenses that I'm going to go into. And let's just start. So right here, I'm going to put a middle point, which of course will be the present, the now. I'm going to put a point right here, which will be the past. And then we'll put right here, which is going to be the future. And then we'll probably just have a line going through it. Is that how you understand? The timeline. Now, in here we have a past. A simple point in the past. And also we have here the present, a simple point, the present, and a simple point in the future. This is just the future tense. Nothing really changes. This can be the past tense or, more simply, the simple past. And then this is just the present tense. And there are things that go in between, and there's even things that go outside of it. Like right here, a point from beyond the simple past up until the simple past. So one action that's continuing in the past until another point cuts it off is known as the past perfect, because it is a closed off space that is happening, but it's still a length of time. It's not a single point. It's still a length of time happening, and it is continuing until something else interrupts it. And that is what gets this whole span. And also, we're going to have something within the past that starts at one point and finishes on another, but these points are kind of squiggly and wobbly because they just happen. We don't know when they kind of happen, but they happen within a certain time frame. This is going to be your present perfect. Now, I know it's weird having a present perfect in the past, but here's why. We can come up with simple examples in English. So, I've lived in this city for 3 years. So we have 3 years, which is a length of time. It is continuous, but I've lived. We don't know if that leads all the way up into the present, or not. It's kind of a little bit ambiguous. And so that's why these are, unknown lengths of time, but they still have a starting point and an ending point. I've lived. Like, it's happened. Another thing is, I've seen this movie. And so this movie has played sometime in the past. It's not quite sure when, but it had a starting point and it had an ending point, and that was it. Now, and it's not like the simple past where it's like, I saw this yesterday. I saw this a week ago, where it's like a single one point. This is when it happened. And we're going to talk about another thing that has to do with something continuous, except this is even like more blurry. So while this does have a set start and end, the imperfect does not. It has something that continued in the back, and it continues also forward. And again, it could reach the present, it could not reach the present, but if it does reach the present, it could still continue on beyond it. This is what it means to be imperfect. It has no start, it has no definite end, but it is continuous. Now, there are some languages that don't have this imperfect tense, but they still continue in the past, again, without a starting point and without an ending point. This can be known as past progressive. I was doing this, and you don't say when. You don't say when you started doing it. You don't say when you stopped doing it. You were just doing something within this unknown span of time. And so they're not interchangeable. There's a lot more nuance that goes within it, but those nuances don't fit on a timeline. So we're just going to leave it at that. And I think that does it for the past. The present is pretty like self-explanatory. It's like a single point, although there is a time span that goes from one point to another point. So it's kind of like between, because it's happening in the present, but it's like continuously happening. That is, of course, the present progressive. It's something that's happening, and it's still happening, and it's still happening. Like this video. This video is happening right now, and with every second that passes, the present is changing from how it was a second ago to how it is in this second, and then the next second. So it's progressing, and there's no endpoint yet. So again, these are like wobbly. Actually, oh no. Let's change this from the stopping points that they are to the more progressive that they are. There we go. And now we have the future. So, like the past perfect that had continuously done all the way up until the one moment where the past happened, the simple past happened, we have right here a point that happens in the future, and it keeps leading up until we get to a simple future, and then this is the future perfect. And then, of course, like we have the present and the past, we have a future progressive, something that just will go on without any sort of thing, because we can't really pin down the future. You know, the future's always going to happen, and there's really no start to the future and end to the future that we can see. But we can make a good guess. And so, future progressive. And so there's just all these names that have all these different meanings, especially like imperfect is really just because perfect is where it has a start and an end, and it's clean, and it's a section of time. Imperfect is where it doesn't have a clean section of time. It kind of just wibbles and wobbles around kind of thing, which is the same thing that the progressive does. And again, there's more nuance that goes along with it. And then you have kind of other things that are like a future perfect progressive, but again, on a timeline, it's kind of a lot of the same stuff, and all of these situations just have nuances that need special vocabulary that go with it in order to make these certain sentences, and these are probably all going to be explored in greater detail in actual lessons, not a mini lesson like this, because right now we're just looking at a timeline. So at least from the languages that I teach, Romance languages like French, Spanish are going to have things like imperfect and present perfect, definitely. I know French doesn't really use simple past anymore unless it's literary, but again, I'll get into that in the future. The progressives really happen in the Asian languages that I teach. So Japanese, you're going to have progressives because they don't really have an imperfect, so that's why they kind of take up the same role, because it's still some continuous action that happens in the past, and so to show that continuousness you need like a progressive tense. And while languages like Japanese don't have like an imperfect, they do have a past progressive. So this is why I'm labeling a lot of the same thing, and again, way more specific things but greater detail in their own language specific videos. And so that does it for now. I hope this timeline helps you out, and I hope you use it when you are thinking to yourself, how would I use this word in this situation? And that's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good one. Oh, yeah, quick thing. Again, comments, questions, concerns in the comments down below, or link in the description to my Twitch channel where you can come in, ask me questions personally, suggest more mini lessons that you want done. And yeah, thanks. Have a good one.